What's going on, Omnibuddies? Mitch here, and today we are back again with another overview. What are we looking at? We are looking at Ram V's Many Deaths of Laila Starr. Alright, so I had been hearing so much about this book. It's published by Boom, and the title, The Many Deaths of Laila Starr, and obviously the creators Ram V and Felipe Andrade, sounded awesome. So you know what? I had to pick it up, and you know, it's super cheap. It was only 30 bucks MSRP, and you can get it way cheaper on Organic Price Books. If you want to use my code Omnibuddy for $2 off every order, you can use that. Support my channel, support OPB. If you want to pick up like 4 or more books, you can use Omnibuddy Ship It Together, get 5% off your entire order. Super great place to do it. But I picked this up from OPB and I was absolutely not disappointed. So you know what? Let's find out why. So this is The Many Deaths of Laila Starr. This book asks what happens when the goddess of death is fired. It's by Ram V and by Felipe Andrade. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. The colors are by Ines Amaro and it's lettered by And World Design. This is published through Boom Studios and it retails for $29.99 USD. You should be able to find it everywhere, but I highly recommend checking out Organic Price Books. I definitely think that Ines Amaro needs some recognition in their color work and how they went about coloring this book. It just pops, and the color combined with Felipe Andrade's art is just absolutely out of this world. Loved every single page of this book, especially in the layout. It was pretty simple, straightforward structure of comic panels from top to bottom, left to right, and all that typical paneling. But what I really loved is that they captured the emotions through the faces and the emotions through the color palette. The line and color work together as a team from soup to nuts was absolutely superb. The Many Deaths of Laila Starr takes place over 5 chapters. You have Once Upon a Falling Star, Chapter 2, The Knowledge of Crows, Chapter 3, Up in Smoke, 4, Conversations with God, and Chapter 5 closes this book out with a very apropos title, Poetry. You are immediately thrown into a world where a husband and wife are trying to get to the hospital in that classic issue of wife is going into labor and husband is trying to get there and stuck in traffic. And then you're juxtaposed with a woman who is at a party who seems to be kind of a loner and who is approached by a man, and they have a pretty frank, interesting conversation. Those 2 stories are happening in conjunction with Laila Starr's story, where she is brought to the ivory tower, as it were, of all of the gods, and she is the goddess of death. What happens is she's brought into the office, and yes, she is let go. So yes, she is fired from her job as the goddess of death. Why? Well, the reason she's given is because someone has been born that is going to create immortality. So that means she is out of a job. She is no longer needed. She is being let go. Her department is being downsized. It's a very interesting premise that then she's given the opportunity to be born into the world of mortals, where she does take up that option, and she is brought into the body of a woman who has recently died, and she immediately meets a friend who is a little out of this world, maybe from a different plane of existence. But as Laila Starr tends to do, she meets death quickly, and she also might meet someone who's important in her life. She meets her former job quickly. She finds death, but along the way she also finds the individual that may or may not have affected the entire rest of her life. Throughout these chapters she does meet her death, and along the way, at the beginning of each chapter, she meets life. And they have interesting conversations where he puts forth different philosophies, different philosophical views, and she learns and grows along the way. It is a very cool story. I'll say the dialogue is not clunky in the least. It is beautifully written, well told. It moves along at a great clips. The only reason you're left wanting to turn the next page is because you want to find out what's going to happen next. So this book moves along quickly. She meets many different characters who are surprised they can understand her, she can understand them, and lots of different representations of death. But also along the way, she learns all about life. You do jump between the life of Laila Starr as she's learning to exist, and you also jump back into the life story of this little baby that she met along the way as he grows and experiences life and death. How these two are intricately tied together, you can probably guess, and is slowly revealed throughout the book. And yes, it is very important, and it does have a beautiful wrap-up, and it does have a beautiful ending. I'll say that the book, the art, all of it together is just so beautiful. I love how it ended. I love the different lives that she lives and the growth that she experiences along the way, and the growth that the kid experiences along the way too. There's a lot of heart in this book and a lot of great philosophy too. Whether you agree with it or not, helps you think about what you believe along the way, which is what I think comics do so well, is make you reconsider what you think, why you think it, not necessarily make you change your point of view, but give you a different point of view so that you can experience empathy. And that's the heart of this book, where she learns empathy, she learns what it is to live, and what it truly is then to die. There's some great afterwords that happen from the creators who share notes on what they created, the art, the coloring, all of it along the way. And I thought was a really cool way to do it are all the creators discussing their favorite sequences. And at the end, you also have some character art and some great series covers. If you're considering a book outside of the superhero genre or maybe the crime mystery genre, this book is an absolutely perfect place to start that journey. You know what? This book was absolutely fantastic. I am going to be keeping this book around for a while. I need to reread it a couple more times because it was so freaking fun. Yeah, I mean, had some really cool deep stuff in there, had some really interesting philosophy. The story premise was just super interesting and fun, and the art, holy crap, the art was just amazing. This is already like an oversized hardcover, so it's, pretty big art, but dang, I really hope, I know Boom doesn't really do absolutes or anything like that, but if they're going to do an absolute edition, this would be freaking it. Well, I know Boom does some bigger stuff, like they got the Power Rangers stuff. Those are pretty big books. But man, this book, absolutely phenomenal. It took me completely by surprise, even though I had heard all the hype about it, and I knew that it was supposed to be good going into it. But dang, it was a shorter read, but it still took me a couple nights because I was taking my time through it because, really good dialogue, really interesting story, and the art made me pause and stop and look at all the pages quite a bit. There's a lot of books I can just absolutely tear through. The art's good, but it doesn't make me stop at every single page and just take the art in. Last book I can remember that really made me do that was Wonder Woman Historia. Dang, that book too. But super cool. And it's so cheap and such a quick read. I can't fathom why anyone wouldn't want to read this book. Super fun. Definitely highly recommend. I don't give 10 out of 10 stars or out of 5 stars or anything like that. Because you know what? Everyone's opinion is different. Everyone's tastes are different. But dang, highly recommend you pick up this book, check it out, because this is probably easily going to be on my top 10 of the 2024 reading list. So that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, do all those things. They help out my channel, they help support me, help me keep going and doing these videos. I love doing them. And I love talking with you all about comics. So that is the most important thing. I love talking with you all. This is a dialogue, hopefully not just me talking at you, but talk at me in the comments. Not only does it help the, the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff, but it's fun. I love finding these hidden gems these ones that not many people talk about, or maybe they talk about and then, you know, they kind of make a big splash and then they just disappear for some reason. This is a book that should not disappear. So let me know in the comments what your book that you don't hear enough about, that you, maybe it did make a big splash, but then people stopped talking about it so much. What book should be brought back into the comic book lovers zeitgeist, our community? What should we know about? Let me know in the comments. All right, that's it. Take care. Stay cool.